Hi. Well, it's International Women's Day, and so I wanted to just talk for a couple of minutes about what this day means to me and the message that I'd like to get out to not only women in Canada and around the world, but to men in Canada. I think of my daughter. She's 23. I'm very fortunate to have a daughter, and I have two sons. And I know how I feel so blessed being born in Canada, having a daughter, being born in Canada, the best country in the world to be a woman. I think when I look at our experiences, when I look at the advantages that we have as Canadian women, we live in a country where our rights are protected, where our ability to be equal is protected, where we have by law every opportunity that any man would have. And it's just up to us to take those opportunities and to work hard and to make the best of them. But I think about women in other countries where they are not treated equal, where they are treated as less than human, where they are forced to participate and do things that they have no control over, whether it's early and forced marriages, whether it's FGM, where it's women who are just treated as property. I think that as Canadians, whether Canadian women or men, we should be working really hard for their rights. Use the power and the opportunity and the blessing that we have here in Canada to help women in other countries, women and girls who are being mistreated. But there's also another area that I feel very strongly and passionate about. And when I think of my daughter, for example, and what advice I would give her being a young Canadian woman in this day and age where things like harassment are being talked about more. And I think about, again, my own experience, and I've been fortunate and just the way circumstances have been that I have not endured or been harassed. And I want my daughter to know that we as women can be both feminine and powerful at the same time, and men can be masculine and compassionate and respectful at the same time. And instead of my advice to my daughter in this day and age would be, and I'm giving it to all of you publicly, and you can take it for what it's worth or reject it. That's okay. But I guess my message to my daughter and to all young women is that you have the power to be able to set strong boundaries. You have the power to know who you are as a woman, and when you walk into a room, the power that you have, and to use it with responsibility and to be able to set boundaries, whether you are working, in my case, I've been a waitress. Years ago, I worked in the financial planning sector. I obviously have been a member of Parliament for the last 9 years. And I believe that I've been able to, because I was empowered by my mother and by my family, I was able to set strong boundaries and be able to send off signals that I would not tolerate being harassed or being disrespected. And there may have been a couple of times where men might have pushed the boundary, and I very quickly, by my words and by my actions, let them know that I was not going to let them cross that boundary. So I guess today on International Women's Day, I want my daughter to know, and I want all daughters out there to know, that you can set strong boundaries, that you can conduct yourself in such a way that you will send a message to not just men who might want to treat you disrespectfully, but anybody who would want to treat you disrespectfully or think that they could. You can set that boundary and say, no. I will not be a victim, and you will not disrespect me, and you will not treat me as a lesser person in any way. And you can do that with respect and still embracing your femininity and respecting a man's masculinity. I also have a message to my sons. I have two sons. And my message to my sons on International Women's Day would be, please don't treat anybody, any woman, any girl, differently than you would treat them if you were in my presence. So don't say or do anything to a woman that you wouldn't do in front of your mom or in front of, if you're married, in front of your wife. I think that is a rule that if every man followed that, I think if all of us treated each other with respect, with kindness, maybe with some discretion and maybe being careful of our words, a lot of these problems would be avoided. So I hope that my message resonates with some of you. Now, for those of you who would like to say I'm blaming the victim, I'm not, and please don't twist my words around. I just want to see men and women empowered to be the very best that we can be, and to be able to pass that on then to our children and grandchildren, and not be victims. I know as a woman, I don't want to be a victim. I think a lot of women are tired of being labeled as victims. So men, be strong, be compassionate, be kind. Women, be kind. Women, own your own actions. Don't be a victim, because being a victim is a very temporary way to have some power. It doesn't last. So with that, happy Women's Day, and thanks to all of you for sharing this video and for watching me. Thanks.